Hey now, metalheads, it's Blackmetalwerewolf making a brand new video for you this week. And today we are going to be doing more unpopular metal opinions. But they're not going to be my opinions, they're going to be the opinions that you, the viewer, sent me from the last video I did about this. So without further ado, let's get down to it and read some of your unpopular metal opinions. Unpopular metal opinion. The 1980s was a terrible time to be a metalhead. Don't get me wrong, the 80s had some of the greatest, most legendary albums. However, being a metalhead, particularly in America, was not all metalheads crack it up to be. Have you heard of the Satanic Panic? That's a really interesting take, seeing as I was born after the 80s and by the time I got into metal, it was well into the 2000s, so I don't know what it would have been like, but it does seem like so many metalheads overly glorify the 80s. I don't know how many times I've heard dumbasses say, oh, I was born too late. Like, you don't know what it would have been like if you would have enjoyed it or not, so I definitely see where this person is coming from, and it's a good opinion. This next one has 3 opinions. Number 1. A band getting big and getting attention from outside the scene does not mean they sold out. 2. Metalheads should not get mad when non-metalheads wear band t-shirts as a fashion thing. If anything, all it is a free advertising for the band. I'm not sure if I agree with that one, but it is an unpopular opinion. And 3. Black metal and death metal are as cheesy and silly as power metal. That is a fair point. Unpopular opinion. Metal doesn't have to be dark and brutal. Sexy and funny things can be metal too. That's an interesting point, but I just want to say, whenever I think of like sexy and funny in metal, I always associate it with the over-the-top gaudiness of hair metal. And I think a lot of other metalheads make the same association too. So as much as we all like sexy, funny things, we all associate it with the over-the-top dramaticism of hair metal. So I do think that sexy and funny things can be metal if done right. The problem is we all associate it with hair metal, and so many metalheads don't want to be associated with hair metal. Testament should replace Anthrax in the Big Four. I mean, Testament is pretty damn good. Let's not pretend they aren't, right? Unpopular opinion. I don't like moshing, and I detest crowd surfers. Dude, in all honesty, crowd surfers can go fuck themselves. Like, years ago I went to a concert in Toronto, and there was like this really short guy with a mohawk who started crowd surfing, and he did it for the entire show. Now, I get it, you want to crowd surf, you want to have a little fun. By all means, once or twice, yeah, that's cool. But this dude did it for the entire fucking show, and by the end of the concert, I was just sick and tired of it. I didn't pay good money to manhandle your sweaty ass above my head. He was a total pain in the ass. And then a few months later, I went to another concert in Toronto, and that guy showed up again. I recognized him instantly. I'm like, there's that motherfucker. He's gonna be doing that the whole time again. And lo and behold, he did. And I had to, I was in the front row, so I was unlucky enough to have to manhandle him every fucking 10 minutes because he wanted to crowd surf. I don't get why someone would pay that much money to crowd surf for what, hour and a half, 2 hours? That is not an unpopular opinion, in my opinion. Unpopular opinion. It's okay for a metal band to try something different from the usual death crushing from time to time, or to branch out from their original sound and explore new territory. Interesting take. I know a lot of people just feel that the band or the musicians have betrayed them by doing something different. In my opinion, if someone does something that I'm just not really keen on, I just don't listen to that particular album or that style for however they're going through that phase. But so many people get super offended, like, how dare they? It's like, they want to do something different, who gives a shit? But I can see how a lot of people will not like that opinion. Unpopular opinion. Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, etc. are not worthy of more respect than, /better than, /more metal than other bands simply because they were the first prominent acts to be classed as metal. I definitely agree. As much as I love those bands, that is a solid point to make, actually. Alright, I'm going to close with this one. My unpopular opinion is I prefer when females on stage and in music videos remain fully clothed. I'm seeing a lot more music videos with less and less clothing on all the women, singers, backup, or whatever. I love that metal music respected females by not requiring them to be naked to sell their music. That is big for pop music. I don't want it in my metal. that definitely is an interesting way to look at it, mostly because sex has always been a really good selling strategy, right? From shampoo commercials, toothpaste, selling cars, sports, all these things have been able to use sex to sell, but for the majority of metal, they haven't really been able to do that, mostly because most metal band members are men and most metal audience members are men. So it's kind of hard to sell sex when it's a bunch of guys on stage and a bunch of guys in the audience. It doesn't really work that way. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing a half-naked chick on stage, but it does get to the point where it becomes way too much. Of course, I want to get your guys' opinion on that one, because I think that's a really good point to make, and I'm sure it'll stir up some good conversation. So those are going to be all the unpopular metal opinions from viewers I'm going to be doing today. But now, of course, I want to get your guys' opinion on all those opinions. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Did you have anything to add to any of these opinions? By all means, leave it down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you guys have to say about all this. And by all means, please give me more of your unpopular metal opinions. I would love to do more of these videos of your guys' opinions as well as my own. And now, like my past videos, I either do an album recommendation or an album warning. And today, unfortunately, it's a warning. The band is called A Pale Horse Named Death. The album is When the World Becomes Undone. I picked this up at the mall a couple weeks ago because the album cover looked really cool and a lot of the track listings sounded awesome. But when I got home and I listened to it, it was incredibly boring, and unfortunately that's all I really have to say about it. I mean, it wasn't so terrible that it's gonna stick in my head the rest of my life. It was just bland and boring. Of course, you guys can judge for yourself, but honestly, I would definitely skip it if you come across this. So that's it for today's video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of today's video, checking out some of my past videos, and sharing them with a few of your friends while you're at it. If you'd like to keep up with me on a more daily basis, you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I also have a P.O. box open. All that info is down in the description. I also have patches for sale, so if you'd like to get your very own, you can click right over here. There's also a link down in the description. Overall, thank you very much for watching, guys, and don't forget to stay brutal.